Did I nail my nutrition in Spain at the recent Agegroup Multisport World Championships, where I was taking part in the cross duathlon? Cramp on the second run would suggest not. So I'm going to go through actually what I took on that race, and I thought I'd got it pretty much dialed in, to be honest. I thought it wasn't perfect. I think there's things that you could alter. There's always things you can do better, but I think overall I got it pretty spot on. So to underline what was happening on race day, which was also a little bit unusual in my experience. Firstly, it was very hot, 27, 28 degrees, which you would expect over in Spain. We were told before we went it was going to be high temperatures. So it wasn't really a surprise, and I actually catered for that with my nutrition. Secondly, though, most unusually for me racing, was the event was taking place at 2 o'clock. Normally we would be racing in the morning, so it would be breakfast, bowl of porridge, banana before the race, maybe a gel depending on the type of race, and a couple of bottles on the bike, and that would be it. There'd be no further nutrition needed, really, in my experience. However, I knew that this was going to be a longer course. The first run was very hilly and 6k, where normally when I'm doing road duathlons they're usually pretty flat 5k runs. Secondly, the bike was very testing. I'd wrecked it the day before, albeit backwards. It was that hilly that on several of the climbs people were getting off and pushing, and I don't mean the odd one, I mean the majority of us, and I was no exception. I actually started pushing up some of the hills as well. So it was trying to get some nutrition in and then racing. So lunchtime, I'd had a good breakfast. Lunchtime, I had a couple of banana sandwiches, and then 20 minutes before the race, I took one of these SIS carbohydrate gels. I also had 2 of these strapped to the mountain bike for later on in the race. 90 minutes before the race, I took a couple of these salt sticks, and I maybe, on reflection and after doing a bit of research, should have left it an hour before the race, and we'll go into that in a minute. But I also had 2 of these in my pocket for backup. And then finally, I had 2 bottles on my bike, and one of the bottles had some of this High Five 0 sugar and 0 calories electrolyte tablets in. And on the second lap, I'd already drunk one of these, and fortunately our manager Dave Pearson was allowed to give us a fresh bottle, so this got discarded and I got a full fresh bottle of water. So all in all, I took I think these are about 500 mils, so I took 3 of these, so that's like 1500 mils of liquid. So on the first run, obviously didn't take any nutrition because I'd already took the gel 20 minutes beforehand and the salt tablets 90 minutes beforehand. First run went okay. It was very, very hilly. Again, it was very hot. There was 2 water stations on the course, and I took a drink at each and also cooled myself down, pouring the water all over me. So got into transition, got the bike, and was out on the bike course.
Go on, Rich, keep smiling.
And after about 40 minutes and a couple of climbs, my calves were starting to cramp. So then I reached into my pocket after thinking, if it's cramping now, how am I going to get on to this second lap and finish this bike, and let alone do the second run? So pulled out the electrolyte out of my pocket and started to munch on those. And fortunately for me, they kicked in and the cramp alleviated. And all the time I was drinking water and the electrolytes as well.
Oh, it's Rich. Well done, you're doing fab.
Water here. That's it, just throw your bottle anywhere.
Well done, Rich. Keep going. Go on, Rich. That's the one I was looking for.
About the same time, I took my second gel and got that down me. And then the second lap, didn't have any issues with cramping. I was absolutely fine. So the bike finished.
Rich, you're doing brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
La bici, yo de primera hora digo a intentar sacar tiempo la carrera, pero en la bici, al principio bajando me encontré la puta madre en cuanto.
And got onto the second run. I made sure that I emptied all my bottles before I finished the bike, and literally in transition I necked the last bit of liquids that I had. Again, on the second run, there was water stations where I was taking in fluid, and I took my third carbohydrate gel before I'd finished the bike. So I was well fueled up.
Give us a wave. I am so proud of you. Go on, well done. Nearly there, sweetheart.
But even so, even after all that, I was still starting to cramp halfway around the second run, which was 4k. So about 2k in, my quads started to cramp. Nothing major, just you can just feel it now. Slightly cramping up. Made it to the finish. I backed off a little bit on the pace, made it to the finish and crossed the line. And overall, I was pleased with the hydration package that I'd put together.
Good job. Again, Silvia 7 in Plaza España for the medal ceremony. Luego entonces Mónica Wojciechowska.
Efectivamente, le esperamos lo que acaba de decir Alberto Inglés para todos los que estéis aquí para ver esa entrega de medallas que se va a partir de las 7 de la tarde en la Plaza de España. Por reunirnos para felicitar a todos los atletas y celebrar como se merece un marco histórico incomparable en el centro de Pontevedra. Más atletas aquí se van presentando.
So I guess there could be several reasons for this. It could be dehydration, although I was taking plenty of fluids on, but it was hot, and you know, best will in the world, over in the UK, you can never acclimatise to that sort of temperature, let alone racing in it. Second, it could be fatigue, because obviously hilly first run of 6k. I think it took me 26 minutes. And then the bike course was, you know, I think we were talking about 700 metres of elevation with all the climbs. Some of them were 18-20%. And like I said, people were getting off and pushing, and I was no exception. It could be, like alluded to earlier, I took these salt tablets a little bit too early, and maybe I should have took them an hour beforehand. And then later on in the bike, took another couple that might have alleviated the first cramps on the first lap, and then it would have left me 2 for later on, which maybe would have alleviated the cramp on the run, but we'll never know. So that could be a timing issue, but having investigated and done a bit of research, cramp doesn't always mean that I did something wrong. it could have meant that my body had just hit its limit. And even though it doesn't matter how much electrolytes, liquids, gels, tablets you take, because age group racing, we're pushing it to the limits really. And at the end of the day, you leave it all out there and you end up fatigued. So let me know your thoughts on my fueling process for the duathlon, and if you've got any hints, tips for me to look at the next time that I race in a situation like that, let us know in the comments box below. Today we've got another podcast episode out featuring Richie Thorpe, just dropped today, so give that a listen, and thanks for watching, and please do subscribe, like, share, and we'll see you next time. Don't forget, stay safe, keep training, love the process.